Hi everybody, it's Christine McAlister of Life with Passion coming to you after a week away. I have missed you all. Welcome replay viewers. This is my first scope with my fabulous new accessory. I call it Bar Fight Christine, and I'm here today. Hello. I wanted today to talk with you about what to do in life, throw some unexpected things at you when you're working on building your business momentum, because living proof right here. And so I want to answer your questions about how to deal with when stuff comes up, how to, hey Suzanne, welcome, how to focus, how to refocus, how to regain your momentum, because over the last 5 days, I have had a full study in that. So you may know that I passed out from low blood pressure and got a really impressive story and before picture out of it. And that happened in the middle of the night, Friday night. So I spent the whole night in the ER. It took 7 hours to get 11 stitches. And, you know, I have needed to rest a lot this week and do a lot less, frankly, than I normally do because I had a head wound. And so it really got me thinking, because I found myself not stressing over this as much as I would have in the past. And I really began to realize, hi Jacqueline, I really began to realize that this is an amazing example of just how much my mindset has changed in the last several months. And I was reading The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by a guy named Joseph Murray. And he mentions that, you know, science tells us that I passed out and hit it on the door. Low blood pressure. That's what happened to my eye. I realized that he says that we basically create a whole new body about every 11 months, like the cells in our body regenerate at that level. So about every new 11 months, we are operating with new cells throughout our bodies. And that really amazed me because I realized that this journey that I've been on of studying and transforming the way that I think and live and do business has completely changed my outlook. Being challenged by people. Hi, welcome. Good to see you, Vivian. Has completely changed my outlook. I've been challenged by people. I've learned new things. Thank you, as always, for sharing on Twitter and with your followers. And I have responded to this sudden change, sudden curveball in a completely different way. Of course, I also have a completely different standard for, you know, what I consider a curveball and what freaks me out now. And I really think I take a lot of things in stride, partly because of what I've been through personally over the last year and a half, and also because of all of this work that I've done on my mindset. And it's so amazing to me to be able to look and go, okay, I've spent more time laughing about this than I have stressing about it or crying about it or wondering how the heck it's going to look when it heals or wondering when I'll be able to put on eye makeup again. That's not eye makeup. That's like bruising. It changes colors every day. It's super exciting. I'm trying all different kinds of bright colors on for my eyes, for my eye, I guess I should say. Freaking people out with the picture, freaking them out / impressing them with the picture. Hey, Jeremy. So I want to share a few things with you and see if you have any thoughts or questions around this stuff. Because the thing is that life is going to throw stuff our way. We know that. And I stayed off of Periscope for a few days because I thought, well, no one's going to want to look at me like this. And then I thought, you know what? I want to be back here. I want to be back here with you all. I love it. I love answering your questions. I love encouraging you. I love motivating you. And maybe this will be a very, very vivid illustration for how to move along with things, an object lesson, as my dad calls it. How to move along with things even when, you're not feeling your best, or, you're not sure what happened, or you need to take a little bit of a break because your eye was hanging open last night. So whatever the case may be for you, work is crazy, life is crazy, stress with the kids, people are sick, you're sick, there's not enough of this or there's not enough of that. Like, I want you to take a step back and really look at it with a new perspective, because transforming your perspective transforms your ability to take action too. And what we're after here is consistent, inspired action in your business. Consistent, inspired action that's going to keep you going when things get tough. It's going to keep you going when life throws these curveballs your way. And I was having lunch with a friend of mine who's incredibly accomplished in her career yesterday. And we were talking about, the possibility of her taking these amazing things that she's learned and becoming a consultant. And we talked about how not only for her, but also for some other people who we know who are also like incredibly talented, high achieving women in really pretty powerful roles in corporate, but who would love to have a life of freedom, how fear is the thing that holds them back. And she said, Christine, I really admire what you do because I just don't know if I can get over that fear. And I was thinking about that last night and this morning, and I thought, what I wish I had said to her in that moment is that overcoming fear is a learnable skill. It's not something that we have or don't have. And I wasn't always like this. About some things, I've gone for it my whole life. Usually things around animals, to be honest with you, or getting what I want. And usually what I wanted was something to do with animals, horses, dogs, whatever. But in business too, I discovered a whole new level of fearlessness. Hey, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you for the compliment. Thanks. Appreciate that. I discovered a whole new level of fearlessness when I realized basically like my life had hit rock bottom in a way, right? So when my daughter Maeve passed away last March, which most of you know, I got this attitude. One of the ways it affected me was with this attitude of like, screw it. You know what? What do I have to be afraid of anymore? Right? I've survived this. Now it's about time for me to go and make something really impactful and change the world. Like, I'm not afraid anymore. And that doesn't mean I don't get afraid and anxious about things in general. But that changed my perspective in a way that nothing else ever had, or potentially, ever could. And so I think for a lot of people, getting in touch with that fierceness of like, I survived this. What do I really have to be afraid of anymore? Fear, you take a back seat now, because honestly. So when this happened, I thought, well, I've still got my eye. Well, this was my weird eye anyway. I'm going to ask them to tack it up just a little bit, which she did. You can kind of see through here, like it's a little higher than the other one. So we'll see how that goes. Well, all right. Okay, let's do this. Let's move on. Some people have said to me like, oh my gosh, you got to get that taken care of quickly because this scar could be with you forever. And da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm not even thinking about that. Like, it's one day at a time now. I'm living so much more in the present than I ever have, or spending time thinking, how could I have prevented this? Or if only I hadn't done that. And that translates over to business when we think that way as well. So learning to both, look for the positives in the situation and also put it in perspective. So a friend of mine who's a surgeon, I sent him the before and after pictures, and I happen to know he's really, really good at stitches. And so I said, he lives several hours away, but I said, I about could have driven to you to have you do these stitches in the amount of time I spent in the ER. And I was so encouraged by his comment. Speaking of looking for the positives, he wrote me back and he said, wow, they did a really good job. It was worth the wait. And I was like, yes! Like, if he approves and he thinks that's great, I'm so encouraged by that. So look for the positives. Like, this happened. It is what it is. Let's keep going. put it in perspective. Like I said, it's the second point. Put it in perspective. Not only look for the positives, but put it in perspective. On a scale of 1 to, of the easiest to the worst thing that you've ever been through in your life, where does this fall? And for me, obviously, pretty minor compared to the other experiences in my life. And also, I think that, a lot of times our bodies and our minds react to something sudden and unexpected as if it's a huge crisis, even when it's not. But we can train ourselves to look for the solutions right away, look for the answers, look for the opportunities, rather than focusing on the crisis and continuing to drag it out and blow it out of proportions. Now, I by no means mean to say that we should minimize things or not grieve or not deal with them fully. I mean, I'm all about that. I'm all about living a healthy psychological life. But I also am about, when things can be put into perspective, to be willing to laugh a little and to go, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, this is not the end of the world. It's going to be fine. I have a story to tell. I have great pictures, and overall, I'm okay. I'm okay, right? So put it in perspective and really, really give yourself credit for the things that you have been through and that you've survived, and use them as strength to propel you forward, to increase your trust in yourself, knowing you've survived those things. You can survive this, right? This might be a momentary challenge, but you can learn from it too. Another thing is to go easy on yourself, and I almost laugh as I say this because I might roll my eyes if I read someone else say it, but this is something I've really been practicing this week, is to be able to say, look, if something doesn't get done, today that I really wanted to get done, it's okay. Maybe my energy is a little bit lower this week. Maybe my body is using that energy for healing. I haven't been able to do yoga because I can't lean over so much because all the blood rushes here, right? And then you feel like your heart's in your eye. And I saw the chiropractor, and she said basically like my whole neck had shifted this way, right? And I said, well, I haven't been able to stretch because I can't, in the way that I can really, really get into a stretch because I can't lean over, whatever. Not an excuse, but now I'm like, all right, let's learn some different stretches. Let's learn some different ways to do things. Let's go easy on ourselves, knowing that, a week away from this is not going to be the end of the world, so let's not act like it is. All right? And when we're, we have these big goals and these big things for ourselves, giving ourselves permission to take it in stride is super important too, right? So knowing that you're on this journey for a reason, and that, as I say a lot, life is 90% the way we respond to the 10% that happens to us. We have so much more control than we think. Even though sometimes things happen that are out of our control, we have so much more control than we usually give ourselves credit for or act like we do. So we can step into that space of choosing how we respond, not react, but respond to what happens to us, and to consciously make those decisions. Does that make sense? Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions about this or anything else business related before I go tonight? It's a beautiful night out. I'm sitting outside, as you can tell. I've got the rose bush with the cardinal nest in it behind me, and Mama Cardinal's chirping at me to leave the table here somewhere. And the fish pond is, the fountain is on in the background. And I'm going to give you a little tour while we wait to see if they're okay. But I'll show you. Look at those little guys. Aren't they sweet? Is that amazing? The rose bush itself is struggling a little bit. There's Mom chirping. The rose bush itself is struggling a little bit, but we don't want to treat it because, there's baby eggs in there. All right, this is another rose bush that we have. It just makes the most fragrant stuff. I love roses. I've been cutting and bringing them in. So these are like little double English tea roses. And then down here below, fountain with the fishes, and the irises, and the chipmunks live in the rocks, which I absolutely love because a little bit of my backyard here behind us. It's a beautiful day. We've had a lot of rain. These purple irises that have come up are so gorgeous. I posted some of those in the society. We've had a lot of rain. Back outside again. And so I'm really glad that you've joined me. I'm back for my back to the Periscope stage scope. And you know you're always welcome to follow up, ask me questions in Life with Passion Society. Visit Life with Passion to get, you know, a daily dose of inspiration. And you're always welcome to email me too, info@lifewithpassion.com. I appreciate you joining me today for talking about the things that we can do when life throws curveballs our way. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. I will be looking similar because this thing's staying on for a while. So I'm headed to the beach in a couple of days, so I'll be scoping from there as well. I'm looking forward to catching up with you all again. Have a great evening, day, whatever, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.